Hey y'all, so this is one of my spiral techniques for the spiral perm. This is a specialty wrap and it's a little bit of an older technique. Now you can get special spiral rods. There are several different tools that will give you that effect. You could use the loop rods, which is also really good for long hair. You could use the special spiral rods, which is a special perm rod, or you could use the one stick where you would wrap the hair around, and kind of like you're using a curling wand, and use the end paper. But this one, it's a free hanging perm rod. And if you can see right here, the hair is wrapped around, let me zoom in on that, just like a candy cane. So what you do typically is you do one row all going the same way, so all wrapping right, and then the next row all wrapping left. And you keep doing this piece by piece. Again, you're also measuring the hair using the diameter of the rod. So because this model has longer hair, and I want to get more of a modern result, instead of a vintage curly look, I am using larger rods, I'm using peach rods, and I'm also using an acid perm, because this mannequin is a little porous. She has been treated with permanent hair color, which is fine. Just use the right perm. You could use a thio-free perm to give you an even more natural result, but I want a little bit more oomph, so I'm using a acid body wave, which uses chemical ingredients that are gentler than a cold wave, but a little bit more firmer than a traditional thio-free perm. I want to get more body, and I want it to look kind of like it's been curled, like with a wand. For this perm, I could not find perfect for platinum. That's a wonderful perm for very damaged hair. You can use it on bleached hair, double processed hair. It's an incredible wave to have on hand. I wish they would make it more accessible. I'm using instead Quantum Classic Body, which is an acid perm for normal, tinted up to 20 volume, or up to 40% highlighted hair, and it produces soft curls. So I'm gonna be using that perm, and I'm doing this perm, I'll show y'all. In order to do this, and this is what makes a spiral wrap really fun, is you kind of break the rules a little bit. So once you get your section of hair that you're gonna perm, and these mannequins always have too much hair on the side right here, so I'm just gonna split that. You're gonna take your hair, you're gonna hold it at a 90-degree angle. You're gonna do the bookend wrap, and it's okay with the spiral perm if the ends converge because of how you're wrapping it. And I know a lot of people get confused with this wrap. So you're gonna take the perm, you're gonna hold it out like so. You're gonna take the rod, and right from the end, you're gonna take it and you're gonna start rolling. And I typically roll around 2 times to make sure that the end paper won't fall off. I'm gonna take it from being horizontal, I'm gonna flip, and I'm gonna wind the hair around the rod as if it's a candy cane. And again, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna let this fall freely, and I'm gonna fasten on the side that is rolled. So if I'm rolling right, I'm gonna fasten right over here. And that is okay if that hangs a little bit. And this specialty wrap is just so nice. It is tedious work, and I would charge a lot more for this. I would probably charge double that of a perm. So, you know, given if a perm takes about an hour and you're charging $1 a minute, again, especially in these times, this crazy inflation, $60 might be too cheap, $60 might be too expensive in certain areas, and if you're doubling that, I would say at the very least you should charge $120, but I would say with this kind of wrap and with everything going on, I would probably charge close to $250 for this perm. And the nice part is that because a acid wave, and again, remember wrap around 2 times, twist to vertical, and wrap like you're wrapping a candy cane. It makes me think of Christmas. And fasten that in place. And when you're applying the waving lotion, you're gonna do this very carefully. I always tell people, make sure you drape the client in cotton. When you start underneath, you're gonna go 1, 2, 3 swipes. Some people try to do 2 swipes. I like to do better saturation, so I go 1, 2, 3. Make sure you saturate the hair on each rod and work your way up top. and you're gonna keep going around and around and around. If the client has a cowlick or a whirl, you wanna make sure you work around that. And if you really wanna get creative, you can go from peach rods to orange rods or even do a size bigger. Again, when you use an acid wave that is not true to rod size, it's gonna be slightly bigger than the peach rods. The peach rods give a very nice result, and I find that when you're doing a spiral perm, are wonderful for longer lengths of hair. I personally am not a fan of using super tight rods because that kind of looks like ramen noodles. It's not a very flattering look, and a lot of ladies will not like that for a spiral perm. Again, 2 times, turn, and wrap like you're wrapping a candy cane. And keep going around the length of the hair. So I'm gonna finish this section and I'm gonna come back when she's all wrapped. Okay, so now in this row I'm wrapping the opposite. So I wrap these, the ones beneath it to the right, I'm wrapping these to the left. And again, I'm gonna take my section. I want it the same diameter as the rod. I'm gonna get my comb. Again, hold it out at a 90-degree angle. And when you start, you're going to start wrapping, 1 and 2, tilt up. You can also get creative and do several left, several right. It just makes it look more natural. Totally up to y'all when you want to do this perm. And I'm going to come back when this is all wrapped. So this is the finished result of the spiral wrap. And as you can see, where the hair was shorter, I used the peach rods. Shorter to medium length peach rods. Medium length, I used the orange rods. And if you turn, this is, I know the mannequin looks a little bit like, kind of looks emo / like Lady Gaga. That's normal with a spiral perm. What makes the spiral perm difficult is not only do you have to put cotton around here, you really have to make sure the client's eyes are protected. You really want them to hold a towel right up here. So heaven forbid any drippings come down, they don't go blind. No one wants an exothermic chemical in your eye, I can promise you that right now. So these were wrapped all spiral around the fringe, and then as you go up, they'll sort of tilt. And if you can see, that is what this perm looks like. I know it looks kind of funky, but you're making horseshoe partings once you get past the ear. You're making horseshoe partings all around, and you're spiral wrapping in one direction and spiral wrapping in another one. What makes this difficult up here is at the top of the head. You have to hold the hair at a 90-degree angle, so even though you're wrapping spiral, it might look a little funny like this. That is totally normal. And again, loose tension. The type of perm solution. Now this is, and also I also want to add the reason why I did larger rods. I started with, I think it was like 9/16 or something. It was like right before 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and then I did. Let me look at the pack. 3/4 of an inch are the peach rods, then 11/16, and then 1 inch. So what I did right there, actually, you know what? I'm sorry because it's been a long day. I'm going to look at the roller chart. Peach rods, orange rods, and these rods all are in the same category. So what I did that, the reason why I did that with the different sizes was I like to have some design freedom. And if anyone does hair and does a lot of perms, you will know I just made such a tacky joke right there. I wanted some design freedom because I like design freedom, and I wanted to make this in the bang area is towards the top a little bit looser, and then as it goes down tighter and then tighter. So you'll see a nice pattern of wave right there. The hair has been treated with a pre-wrap treatment to even out the porosity. This mannequin was also treated with multiple protein treatments to prepare it for the perm, because even though you can have the nicest ingredients, perms are still capable of wrecking your hair. The one thing that is difficult is the test curl, because usually you're going to use perms that have no fixed test curl. But even so, if you just unwind it a little bit and you start to see the wave sticking, that's usually your cue. Now with the softer perm, it's going to be more like a C shape. It'll be a little bit more difficult to tell. So with that being said, I'm going to get this mannequin all cooked, and I'm going to come back when she is all styled. I know this might be hard to see, but if you can see right here, this was all clear. Let me see if I can find it. If you look underneath here, see how some of these rods are lighter in color? They're now starting to darken, like this one right here. That one right there is lighter. You put the neutralizer on it, and look, it starts to darken. This mannequin had a pink and purple tinge to it. Just by putting that rebonding agent, the reoxidizing agent, that color molecules, like right here, that was more blonde, is now coming back. So it's always crazy with the perms that you'll see the hair color completely lift out of the hair, especially if it's light. And then when you go to put the neutralizer back on, the color swells and it takes again. Now again, as with most perms, they will take hair color out, but for the most part, if you do everything correctly and you're careful, you choose the right perm solution, you rinse the appropriate time, you towel blot, and even air dry a little bit, you will get a very nice result. So I just think that was so magical. All right, y'all, so this is the finished result of doing the graduated spiral perm with the acid wave. So the mannequin, again, was, she had a high lift in her hair. She had about several rounds of hair color, so the hair was moderately porous. And again, what I did beforehand was I treated the mannequin with a protein treatment, basic one from Sally Beauty Supply. I did the simple instructions. You mix it, put it in the hair, leave it in 10 to 15 minutes, and you rinse. Believe it or not, Zotos used to have a perm for bleach blonde hair. Unfortunately, it is discontinued. And it was the Zotos, I think it was for the blonde one or something. It was a yellow to off cream color. And there was another one for, it was T on T, texture on tint. They had one for 30 and 40 volume. That's also another good choice. And theoretically, you know what you could have also done? Y'all could have taken the thio-free perm, any brand, and used it, because thio-free is safe for all hair types, hair with multiple porosities. But the only thing with the thio-free I want to caution everyone on, it could probably take in 2 to 3 minutes. So perm design is something that y'all are going to have to take into consideration: the hair analysis, what the hair is like, what the client has in her hair, and the size of the perm rod. So we know that the type of curl that is created with the Zotos Classic Body Wave is soft. To take that into account, a lot of the rods that I use that were smaller rods, don't want to say tight, but smaller, will come about a size or maybe 2 sizes larger. So things like that are important to consider when doing perm design. Expect that this will loosen up a little bit more, so explain to the client that if it looks a little too tight for her, give it a wash or two. Especially when you're using an acid wave, it can be very difficult to kind of like, get it perfect the first time. It's something that y'all kind of learn as, you send the client home, judge it when she comes back, and take careful notes. So again, we're going to explain to the client, we did the best we could. Her hair was compromised. You did the protein treatment, and you also want to make the client sign a contract. And this is something I believe in, because retailing is important in the salon. And if you have products that have the pH on them, you have products that are made for chemically distressed hair, you want to have the client sign that she is going to buy those products, or you can even factor it into the price of the service and explain that the service will be a lot more because she has compromised hair, and that if she doesn't, sign the contract and do the products, you're not going to do this. Because when you have compromised hair, you have to treat the hair before you do the service. Failure to do so, if I didn't put a protein treatment on her hair, if I didn't do the protein spray and the treatment spray when I was wrapping, chances are she would have had pocket curls. Basically, the perm rods would have been in the bowl with the hair attached to it, and she would have been screaming like crazy because her hair was melted from her scalp. So I'm going to give y'all a quick look at this style. So this is the side of it. And as you can see, What I like about the spiral wrap is that it doesn't give you a super dramatic look at the scalp. It's kind of uniform throughout. It's more of a wave. You do get a little bit of bounce in the front, so she gets a little root lift there. And it all around looks like a fantastic style. The front of it, it's a little bit more of a looser wave because I used a green rod. Now let's say a client complains, this is, too loose, I don't like it. I prefer to do a little bit looser in the bang area so it's not as tight. Some people like their perm uniform throughout, and some might even like it a little bit tight up front. This is all something that you're gonna have to, talk to the client about, what she wants. This is another profile view. You can do a side part with this. She's kind of looking like Debbie Thornberry here, if any of y'all watch The Wild Thornberries. Totally love those 90s cartoons, by the way. But she does kind of look like Debbie Thornberry with pink hair. And again, don't be shocked that if the color fades or turns a weird color. This was Redken color gels I used, the pink. It was like the 9 rose gold or something. And then I also had Matrix High Lift Rose Gold in there as well, so she had a few shades of pink. And I also used a L'Oreal shade with 20 volume, the Violet Gold. And believe it or not, when I did this, if you saw the video, she had the perm in her hair, it sucked it out completely, and I'm like, wow, the color vanished magically. What y'all were seeing there was actually the color molecules shrinking. And if any of y'all saw my previous video on either the thio one or the other video that was on color removers, it covered that. Where it shrinks the molecules, you put the peroxide back on, the neutralizer, and the molecules go poof, they come back. So don't always be freaked out if you see that. I will say that the odor of this perm was a lot less stinky. Here's the other side. A lot less stinky than other perms. It was, kind of sulfury, but it dissipated very quickly. And this is just air dried with some protein spray and moisturizer and a little bit of curl cream. So I will be doing another video on how to style this kind of hair that has been permed, or a spiral perm guide. And I'll probably do a few techniques in there for y'all, make a bigger video, because I know my bigger videos do get a lot more views. So this is what the perm looks like underneath. Again, you get nice spiral corkscrew curls with this look. Gives you a really neat look that is unlike anything else, a lot different than the crokinole style wrap. So I hope this made the spiral wrap a lot easier. Please practice this on your mannequins first. I know it's a tough wrap to master. It's a wrap that I would say practice at least 5 times, and then on the last time that you think you got it, do the perm. And you know what? If you do this technique, do the video, upload the video, because I love when my viewers, do their mannequin work. If you're a cosmetology student, or if you feel comfortable, do a friend or a person, tag me in it, and I would love to see the result. So it's a top view too, so you can see the root lift. There was minimal hair shedding with this. I haven't noticed any. The hair feels super healthy, super bouncy, super soft. She probably needs a little bit of a trim. Her ends, believe it or not, don't look too bad, which I was pretty impressed with. And again, with any perm, it's always about 3 days before your first shampoo. Educate the client and whatnot. Be gentle with the hair. Know that the spiral perm will look a lot more modernized to what y'all want to make it look like if you use the right product, and I'll go all over that in another video. So please like this video. Please subscribe to me to get more awesome videos like that. Please consider either getting a membership or sending me a tip. I really appreciate all of y'all's support. All the money will go to purchasing new mannequins to make videos like this possible. And any perm questions, please comment down below.